It was a Monday morning in Maple Grove Estates, the kind of place where the biggest drama was usually someone forgetting to mow their lawn on schedule. I was sipping coffee, expecting to see squirrels raiding the bird feeder or Mrs. Larson power walking in her neon sweatband. Instead, I spotted a bulldozer with HOA compliance plastered on the side, growling in our backyard. Two guys in bright vests were hammering stakes into the ground like they were marking us for a suburban death sentence. Mom shrieked, Dad fumbled his mug, and Grandpa Ed, barefoot in a faded camo robe, snatched his old rifle from the mantel and growled, "Not on my watch." Maple Grove was dull as Dishwater last year's big scandal was a fight over whether mailboxes should all be navy blue. But this was a declaration of war. By the time I got downstairs, an HOA goon was on our porch, clutching a clipboard and smirking like he'd just won a poker game. "Morning," he chirped. "We're here to tear down your unauthorized structure per Article 14, subsection B." Mom, still in her sleep mask, blinked. "You mean the shed?" The guy scoffed. "It's a non-compliant auxiliary building. Demos today." Now, our shed wasn't some flimsy Home Depot kit. It was a beast log stacked like a fortress, iron hinges, a chimney that puffed smoke in winter, and what I swear were coyote pelts nailed to the wall. Grandpa Ed called it his hunting cabin, built back when Maple Grove was just fields and dreams. It looked odd, sure, sandwiched between a kid's rocket-shaped swing set and a neighbor's trampoline, but it was ours. Mom tried to argue. "That cabin's been here longer than the HOA," she said, her robe flapping in the breeze. The crew didn't care. A backhoe rumbled forward. The neighbor's kid started wailing. Then Grandpa stormed out, rifle in hand, looking like he was about to reenact some old war story. He didn't aim it wasn't that wild, but he held it like a man who'd stared down wolves and won. "Touch that cabin," he snarled, "and I'll make this neighborhood remember what a fight looks like." The crew froze. The foreman, a guy named Carl who looked like he'd flunked out of security guard school, clutched his clipboard tighter. "Sir, we're just following HOA orders. File a dispute." Grandpa laughed, cold and sharp. "Won't be anything left to dispute if you rip it apart." Enter Victor Hensley, the HOA president, strutting up with a comb-over so stiff it could have doubled as a helmet. He wore khakis ironed to a crisp and a smirk that screamed, "I love finding people." "I warned you," he said, shaking his head like a disappointed teacher. "Non-conforming structure. Zero compliance. This is what happens when you ignore the rules." Grandpa snapped back. "That cabin's older than your fake tan, Victor. It's got more soul than your bylaws." Things spiraled fast. Grandpa was yelling about freedom. Victor was quoting HOA regulations like they were the Bible. Mom was tearing up, and Dad was pacing like a caged animal. I thought we'd hit peak chaos until Grandpa clutched his chest and hit the ground. Time stopped. Dad dropped to his knees. "Ed, call 911. Mom screamed. The demo crew backed off like they'd stumbled into a crime scene. Paramedics swooped in, wheeling Grandpa away as he mumbled something over and over. I leaned in, expecting a farewell. Instead, he rasped, "They can't find what's under it." Just like that, our HOA beef turned into a spy, MOVYE. At the hospital, Grandpa stabilized, but Mom sat pale at the kitchen table while Dad scribbled theories about what it could beg old, guns, maybe even a body. "You don't build a cabin that's solid unless you're hiding something," he said, flipping through Grandpa's old journals. That night, curiosity beat fear. My sister, Lily, hyped up on energy drinks and armed with a flashlight, dragged me and Dad to the cabin. We slipped past the HOA's police tape, yeah. They taped it like a crime scene and creaked open the heavy door. Inside, it smelled like gunpowder and old tobacco. Deer heads stared from the walls. Then Lily spotted a floor hatch we'd never seen. Dad pried it open with a crowbar, revealing a ladder into darkness. Lily's light hit a concrete cellar. At the far end was a workbench piled with maps, yellowed papers, and a metal case stamped U.S. government do not open. Obviously, we opened it. Inside, a microfilm reel, a pouch of war bonds, and an envelope marked Operation Nightshade Confidential. My heart pounded. "This isn't about a shed anymore," I whispered. Headlights flashed outside. SUV doors slammed. Our neighbor, Mr. Daniels, a guy we thought was just obsessed with his lawn, stepped into the yard and said, "You shouldn't have touched that." In the hospital, Grandpa woke up sharp as a tack. "Where's the case?" he demanded, ignoring Mom's pleas to rest. Dad pulled it from his backpack, and Grandpa checked it like it held the fate of the world. "You kids ever heard of Operation Nightshade?" he asked. We shook our heads. Lily had her phone out, but he waved it off. "Forget the internet. They only tell you what they want you to know." He explained how, in the 70s, during the Cold War's peak, he'd been roped into setting up a secret listening post in the cabin. It wasn't a bunker, just a relay to catch foreign signals slipping through CIVUILEN channels. The tech was ancient now, but back then, it was top secret. "Why keep it?" Lily asked. Grandpa sighed. "Because I didn't know what it was still picking up." We went back to the cabin that night. The envelope had coordinates and frequency codes. Grandpa said the radio was hidden behind a false wall in the cellar. But the door was jimmied open. A pelt was slashed. The air smelled like gasoline. Grandpa checked the hidden panelet was empty. The radio, cables, and a weird black box were gone. "They beat us to it," he said, his face grim. Back home, we found an HOA citation taped to our door. Dula 2000 fine, demolition rescheduled, county approved. Victor was playing dirty. Next morning, while Dad hunted for a lawyer and Mom drafted a furious letter, Grandpa made a call to an old friend. At noon, the backhoe returned, along with Victor, now sporting a district compliance officer badge. "Start with the roof," he sneered. Then 3 black SUVs rolled up, surrounding the cabin. Men in suits stepped out, no names, just sharp looks. One handed Victor a document. He read it, turned ghost white, and slunk away. The lead suit saluted Grandpa. "Frank Sullivan? Your file's been reactivated." Mom clutched her robe. "Reactivated for what?" The man's voice was flat. "Your father was the last link to a classified listening program. The stolen text being used. We need him." The suits treated the cabin like a holy site, setting up gear while Victor gaped from across the lawn. That night, over pancakes, Grandpa grinned. They thought it was just a shed. Didn't know they were standing on a Cold War relic. But the stolen tech was out there, and if it was active once, it'd be active again. Lily found new coordinates on a microfilm north end of town by an old radio tower. The neighborhood turned weird. Mrs. Larson spied with binoculars. Mail arrived opened. Drones hummed overhead. Rumors flew. Gold, UFO parts, even Grandpa being a secret MOVYE star. To fish for info, we threw a barbecue dubbed Operation Cookout. The yard filled with retirees, kids, and a guy named Marty Voss, who brought a karaoke machine and called himself the HOA's fun chair. Grandpa spun Cold War tales, hinting at the tower's secrets. Lily noticed Marty lingering, eavesdropping, never drinking his lemonade. At sunset, Grandpa stood, clinking his plate. "It's worse than you think," he said. That cabin was a government relay. I logged signals, some were gibberish, some weren't. Now someone's got that tech, and they're not with Uncle Sam. The crowd gasped. Victor choked on his drink. That night, the HOA held an emergency meeting, branding us a destabilization risk. But Lily found something bigger, a radar pulse from the old water plant, matching Grandpa's logs. The suits confirmed ETA transmission, short and coded, like the Cold War never ended. We went in as HOA volunteers, a convoy of minivans with Grandpa, Lily, me, and some gutsy moms. The suits trailed in unmarked vans. The water plant was silent but alive, buzzing faintly. Behind rusted pipes, we found a stolen box, wired to a car battery, feeding an antenna. And there, typing on a laptop, was Marty Voss. "You don't know what this can do," he said, eyes gleaming. Marty didn't fight when the suits cuffed him. He just smiled, saying, "The signal's still active. They're listening back." The laptop showed rhythmic data, growing faster. Lily whispered, "They know we're here." Back home, the suit set up new sensors. A high-up agent met Grandpa privately. Afterward, he sat on the porch, staring. "They're not shutting it down," he said. "They're expanding it. Something's out there, and they're scared." Victor tried one last power grab, calling a hearing to deem the cabin an eyesore. He showed a ridiculous PowerPoint, complete with Photoshopped demon smoke. Grandpa stood, holding a 1971 HOA charter exempting the cabin. The board gasped. A member moved to dissolve Victor's leadership. It passed. Victor stormed out, yelling, "I know what's under that cabin." Grandpa smirked. "You lost to a guy without Wi-Fi, pal." A preservation group caught wind of our story thanks to a VY Deo of Victor slipping in Grandpa's glitter-and-syrup traps and named the cabin a landmark. It was safe, but the signals kept coming. Lily decoded one, homecoming. Then the tower lit up, blowing out lights and setting off car alarms. Something was close. One night, the sky turned violet. Power died. Lily's laptop flashed connecting. Agents flooded in with towers and servers. The mayor and news crews showed up, smelling a story. Jess translated a new message. It begins at midnight. Grandpa lit a cigar. This ain't Cold War anymore. It's something else. We stayed as neighbors fled. From a cabin cellar, we heard Thump's footsteps. Grandpa opened the hatch. A new tunnel led to a stone room with a Cold War console. A tape played Marty's voice. The signal's not human. It's from us before we forgot. A map showed global stations waking up. The ground shook. Agents reported hundreds of pulses, all ending in a genetic code. Lily paled. It's DNA. The receiver chimed. Match found. Grandpa turned. It's me. They coded me into the relay as a fail-safe. He typed, listening, identify. The reply came, welcome home, Frank. A light shot from the tower, parting clouds. Screens showed a spiral countdown. Lily gasped. 24 hours. Grandpa smiled, eerie and calm. Until everything changes. Sasa, what do you think? Sasa, was the signal really non-human, or is it a government cover-up? Is Grandpa a hero or a pawn in a bigger game? Should the family have destroyed the cabin to end it all? Drop your theories below, hit that like button, and subscribe for more wild stories. What's lurking in Sawyer's backyard?